Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be talking about how I personally picked a designer bag and kind of my thought process and also how to not regret your luxury purchase, just because I have a few. I don't know if you guys want to hear about them, I don't know. But yeah, I have quite a few. So I feel like that this would be like a good guideline for people, not necessarily just for bags, but also for just any type of luxury purchase in general. So let's just get started. The first rule I have is you want to make sure you plan for the future. And I'm not saying like, okay, plan your 401k so when you're 65 you can cash it out, okay? I'm not saying that like far in advance, just that for at least the next 2 years, right? Because you're spending a lot of capital on this bag and it is your first bag. You want to make sure it is something that you're going to like and it's going to last you a long time. And of course, luxury does last a long time, so you want to make sure that it will be used. And like my biggest pet peeve is a bag that is not used. So especially it's your first large purchase in terms of, I guess, like fashion or shoes or anything, you want to make sure it's something that you really like. And so you want to make sure that if you are a student, maybe you're graduating high school, you want to treat yourself to something, maybe it's something that you want to use for college because you can see yourself going out a lot, so maybe you want a little clutch, or you know, if you want a day bag because you're a student and you want to use it for school, or if you know you're planning a family and you plan to have kids within the next 2 years, maybe you want something, things like that you just want to have planned out, just because once your lifestyle changes a little bit, you want to make sure it still works for that lifestyle. Now that goes into my point number 2, which is always to do your research. And by that, it can be anything from trying on the bag in store. You know, if you are buying it secondhand, most of the time you won't be able to try it on before you buy it. So try it on in the store, see how that model fits you, or if you want like a specific limited edition item, try on the most similar item in store, just because, you know, you look at it on the website, it's different than touching it, feeling it, and putting it on and see how it looks on your body. Just because a bag looks really nice on the model who is 5'9", I'm 5'1", that doesn't do anything for me because I'm so much shorter and I'm so much smaller that, you know, that bag may look amazing on the model, but it's gonna look crazy on me. So you just have to make sure you do the research in that respect. You also want to do research in the other respect that it will hold its value in some sort of way, just because if this is your first designer purchase and you know you do all the steps but you end up not liking it, or if shit hits the fan and you really need that money, you can sell it and you can get most of that money back, so it's not just, you know, $2,000 down the drain. And one of the greatest examples I can give you is buying the Louis Vuitton Epi leathers. So Epi leather is not a material that holds itself well on the secondary market, just because I feel like it's not a very flashy logo bag. A lot of the bags that hold their value the most from Louis Vuitton or even Chanel are the classic, you know, the monogram, the classic flaps, things that, you know, obviously a lot of people want to buy Chanel because it's like, yo, like, this is Chanel, I want everyone to know. I mean, not everyone, but I feel like that helps it holds its value. Now, Epi leather looks like this, and you can't really tell if you're like walking down the street and you're not like, you know, a super bag fanatic like I am, you're not gonna know this is Louis. So things like this, I would recommend if it's your first purchase, get it secondhand. I have a whole regrets video if you want to see it on this bag. But yes, this is not a bag that will hold its value. It only holds about 25 to 30%. So I paid almost $2,000 for this bag. This bag you can buy secondhand for anywhere from $300 to like $600. So you want to make sure that you buy something that is a smart investment because it is your first bag. Now, if you have like a massive Birkin collection and you just want something because you like it, then absolutely go for it. But I think for your first purchase, just make sure that in the case that you do regret it, in the case that you do need the money at some point in time, that it was a wise investment and you can get money back from it. And another point that you want to research is how well it holds up day to day. Just because a lot of the luxury bags, yes, they are made to last, but if you do get a bag that is a little more delicate, or something that needs to be taken care of a little more often than, you know, something that you can just throw around, you want to make sure that, you know, it fits with your lifestyle. So personally for me, I don't baby my bags, okay? I paid a lot of money for you. I'm not gonna baby you because I expect you to hold up. Now, I would never be the person to try to buy, you know, an exotic that is going to take a lot of care, lots of conditioning. I have to send it in like, you know, every 6 months to get it conditioned and, you know, whatever, like a car. I'm not trying to maintenance my bags like that. So you want to make sure that whatever you want fits with your lifestyle. You know, if you are fine with taking it to get spot every 6 months, you know, that's fine for you, then, you know, by all means. But you just want to make sure that this is something you're okay with. It's like buying clothes, because do you want to buy a dry clean only wool jacket that you can only wear maybe like 3 times and then you have to dry clean it, versus something you can just wash at home and it's really easy and carefree? So things like that you really do have to consider. This is the most important part. You want to be patient, because you want to make sure that whatever bag or item you want, it might go on sale sometime. I'm not saying that all stores will go on sale, but if you're looking for, like, you know, something like a Chanel or Louis Vuitton, maybe it's limited edition and you find it on the secondhand market and it's on a markdown. But you want to be patient, because you do not want to settle. And I guess that should be rule number 4. Like, don't ever settle, because if you're paying so much money for this bag, you want every aspect of it to be perfect. You don't want to, you know, oh, it's crooked. Don't feel like you're too picky, because if I'm paying $1,000, $2,000, $10,000 for a bag, I expect every dollar of that to go to its perfection. Now, I know some people are like, oh, I don't want to be that customer that's like, oh my god, this bag is crooked, get me another one. And yeah, I understand that you don't want to be that person, but also you don't want to spend so much money and at the end of the day go home, it's like, oh, it's crooked. And especially since these luxury houses and these designers pride themselves in everything being perfect, that you want it to be perfect. It's not like, all right, well, I paid $20 at Forever 21 for this, like, this bag, but, you know, it's a little crooked, like, it's not that good, but it's okay, it was $20. Like, this is not okay. You're paying, you know, lots and lots of money for whatever bag or whatever item you want. And so you want to make sure that everything is to your liking. Now, it depends on you, because some people, you know, if you buy it on the secondhand market, and you might have to settle because what you're looking for is extremely limited edition, you know, only 3 were made, and, you know, only like this one has like a little scuff on the corner. Like, okay, settle for that. But for the most part, if you're not looking for something that's super limited and super hard to find, don't ever settle, because you will find it, and being patient will definitely pay off in the long run. Just quick little story time. I actually wanted my Ompreon Speedy for 2 years. I've been looking at that since my 19th birthday. And I waited and waited and waited just because the time was not right for me. I was 19, a college student. Like, where was I gonna fork up like $2,000 to go buy a bag, right? Like, that was just not a smart investment on my part. But I was patient, I waited it out, and I waited until they redesigned it. Actually, I didn't know that they were gonna redesign it. It just was in the stars, I guess. They redesigned it, and I love the redesign. I just YOLO'd it, and I got it because I knew I was gonna love it. I bought it, and I'm so in love with it to this day. And that goes to number 5, kind of to stick with your choices. Now, I know it's really easy to say, well, oh, well, I really like that Chanel classic flat bag, but, you know, Gucci makes a very similar style right now, the Marmont. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you can Google it. It's the one with the 2 G's on the front, and it looks very, very similar to the Chanel flap. Well, you know, it's half the price. I don't know if it's even half the price. I want to say it's like half to like 30% of the price of a Chanel classic flap, depending on what model you get, of course. Let me just get that one because it's a more financially sound option, right? And so you never want to just settle. You want to stick with what you want, because what I have learned in all of my years, like, I'm old, but like in all of my years of buying things and things that I want, if you don't ever just be patient and wait for the one that you want, you're gonna end up spending more money in the long run trying to acquire that one thing that you do want. Because, okay, so you buy that bag, right? And you're like, oh, like, I really like it. It's very similar in style, so I'm gonna get this Gucci bag. And then down the road, you're like, oh, well, you know, like, I don't really like it that much. I'm gonna try to find another bag that's very similar. Maybe it's the Diorama, maybe it's something else. Okay, so I get the Diorama, say. And, you know, like, and you buy that because that one diorama is going to be cheaper than the Chanel classic flap. But in the long run, you know, you bought 2 bags that you're not fully satisfied with, and you're still wanting for that Chanel classic flap. And so, of course, everyone knows the Chanel classic flap does appreciate over time, and so you have these 2 bags that don't keep their value all that much because it's Dior and it's Gucci, and they are pretty trendy bags. So you know, you want to make sure you stick with your first choice. And if it's something that you've always wanted and you've wanted for a long time, like, you can wait a little bit more until the time is right for you to purchase. Yes, the price probably would have gone up by the time you purchased it, but at the end of the day, you know that this is the bag that you wanted and this is what you've been waiting for all this time. So yeah, I know that this video might have been a little bit long, but I feel like this might have been helpful for someone, just because when you're first are going into the world of luxury goods, you don't really know what to get. And you want to make sure that your first item is something that is wise. And you know, especially if it is your first item, you're not in the position most likely to at everything that you want. So you want to make sure that whatever you get is financially sound. Just like when you buy your first car, you want to make sure it's a good choice. So anyways, I hope you thought this video was helpful. I certainly thought that it was, just because I watch a lot of handbag videos. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!